Overpaying for anything sucks, especially socks, so why pay $45 for a single pair of grip socks when you can spend less than half? Pure Grip Socks Pro feature our best materials for optimal fit, moisture wicking, and performance at a fair price, just $16.99 a pair at puregripsocks.com.
Say hello to the limited edition Adidas X Speedportal 99 Leather .1. Not exactly the most catchy name, but a really solid pair of football boots, so much so that I'd go as far as to say that these are better than any of their current inline Speedportal offerings. The boots pay tribute to the 2015 99-gram adizero, however, are nowhere near as light, but do utilize the reinforced mesh material that's basically translucent through the midfoot, across the top of the foot, as well as in the heel area. It also implements kangaroo leather through the forefoot, which kind of pays tribute to some of the leather F50s from back in the day, even though technically none of them outside of limited edition releases featured any kangaroo leather. And then of course the sole plate, stud pattern, and Carbotex insert of the current X Speedportal, all of which you can get for the not so affordable retail price of $320 US. Steep price tag aside, I do think these are really good, and maybe it's not the perfect comparison, but for those that were big fans of the second gen leather F50 adizero, the elements of these two football boots are actually pretty similar in terms of the wearability experience. There is one issue though, and that's the existence of this boot right here that I conveniently have in a very similar white and green colorway. It's the made in Japan Mizuno Morelia Neo 3, the non-beta version, which also features a lightweight construction with quality kangaroo leather in the forefoot, but retails for $290. Still expensive, but technically $30 less than these. This of course begs the question, which one should you buy? I'm gonna do my best to answer that for you in today's video as we go over all the details of the X Speedportal 99 Leather .1. Terrible name, I don't know whose idea that was. Nonetheless, there's a lot to talk about here. We'll even compare them to the current range of Speedportal Pluses and .1s in the full synthetic, and ultimately determine whether or not this is actually the best speed boot Adidas has put out in 2023. So if you're interested in learning more, including how they fit and feel on feet, please stick around. And if you're interested in a pair for yourself, you can pick them up below their normal retail price by way of some exclusive SR4U coupon codes by checking out the first link down below. And as always, if you enjoy these brutally honest reviews, drop a like on the video and make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you haven't already so you don't miss out on my reviews of all the latest football boots of 2023. So right off the bat, I want to ask you guys a question to answer down in the comment section, simply for research purposes. If this was an inline Speedportal model, would you be more interested in the Speedportal line over other speed boot options simply because of the implementation of kangaroo leather? Leather F50 adizeros were such a popular thing back in the day. The fact that they've taken that away is such a shame, and honestly, even as simple as this product is, I think there's a lot more appeal to something like this versus the more technical angle of the current Speedportals that ultimately don't fit or feel nearly as comfortable as these football boots do. But again, let me know your opinions down in the comment section. Should Adidas bring back a leather speed boot option? Speaking of the leather, I wouldn't say that the quality of this kangaroo leather is quite to the made in Japan Mizuno standard. However, this definitely has a little bit more of a plush padded feel than the Mizunos, which are definitely thinner all the way through. And of course, the amount of leather isn't overly significant. It is purely focused to the forefoot and toe box area with a pretty hard transition that I don't love the feel of in hand, but honestly on feet I didn't find it to be quite as noticeable, even though this material used in the midfoot is significantly thinner than what you're going to find from the leather in the forefoot. Nonetheless, it feels really good. The touch on the ball is soft. The comfort you get in this area of the foot is fantastic. And of course, as you wear them in, they're going to stretch and give you a little bit more of a custom fit than most non-leather speed boots, or football boots for that matter, otherwise would. The one thing I will say about the finish of the leather on the surface is that they've left it very, very slick. So if you're looking for additional grip, this has a borderline slippery feel against the ball, which again is very traditional leather, but something to be aware of if you were planning on picking these up. As far as the midfoot is concerned, again, this 99-gram adizero-esque material, which is basically a thin mesh with a polyurethane overlay and then kind of like some microfiber support cages running through the inside of the boot. It's a nice blend of pliability but also general structure with the laces tied tight, and in general, the boots feel nice and secure and pretty responsive on feet, especially with that nice deep central lacing system. It allows for plenty of adjustability, and the standalone tongue with this U-throat construction is something that is greatly appreciated, and that it makes putting these boots on and taking them off significantly easier. It must be said that there is a pretty harsh difference in touch and feel for the ball between the thin synthetic through the midfoot and the padded leather in the forefoot, but again, that's kind of the general recipe that the old school leather F50 adizeros used to have. People loved it then. I don't see why they wouldn't like it now, but it is definitely something to be aware of. And again, kind of a difference between these and the Morelia Neo 3 in that while those are also kangaroo leather in the forefoot and synthetic in the midfoot, the thickness of both those materials are more consistent on the Mizunos versus what you're going to find here. So again, at the end of the day, very much a personal preference choice. Moving to the rear, you're going to find a fairly traditional low-cut construction with the stability wings from the Speedportal's speed frame kind of peeking out the side. Just said speed way too many times in one sentence. Nonetheless, what I like about this heel construction is, aside from the upside down Adidas logo, again being a reference to that 99-gram adizero, you'll also find it there on the actual tongue. You'll notice that it does not feature a ton of extra padding. It's a normal amount of padding with a fairly normal shape. It makes for significantly less bulk, and in terms of comfort and heel lockdown, it feels fantastic. It's a night and day difference over the Speedportal, and in my opinion, a gigantic improvement over their current inline models. I also really like the fairly traditional kind of smooth microfiber material that they've lined it with. Everything about this just feels like a giant improvement over what they currently have on offer on a regular basis. Then the insole, fully removable. It features a really soft kind of mesh material on the surface, and then it's made from a single layer of white foam, so realistically, nothing different from a normal Speedportal. Which brings us to the base of these boots, where you'll notice the same familiar speed frame from the current Speedportal lineup. However, the Carbitex insert is back. For those that are unaware, a couple weeks ago when they launched the latest colorways of Speedportal, the Carbitex insert was replaced for a plastic one for seemingly no reason. It would appear that that partnership has ended, and the question now becomes, have they kind of reignited that partnership because we have it on their latest Speedportal launch? The answer to that question is most likely no, and the reason why I say that is if you look at the size tag, the production date for this product was actually in September of 2022, which means that these were produced a long time ago, and for whatever reason, they just delayed the release. So likely, these were produced during a time when Carbitex was always part of the plan. Something obviously changed since then, and it's just kind of by chance that these were produced such a long time ago that they happen to have the Carbitex insert. Nonetheless, it's definitely a positive because I think this is a pretty significant feature of the new Speedportal concept. It really gives it that snapback sensation, which in combination with these two materials on the upper, it just makes for a much more pleasant experience than what's on offer from either the Speedportal Plus and Speedportal 0.1, which are of course just the normal models. And then the stud pattern, it's kind of the same layout we're used to seeing from the Adidas brand for a very long time now. It's pretty aggressive, and for the most part, if you're looking for that bite that you expect from a pair of speed boots, this sole plate stud pattern combo is overall really good. Which brings us to the weight. How light is this limited edition variant compared to a normal Speedportal 0.1, and in comparison to what is kind of on paper a similar football boot in the MIJ Morelia Neo 3. We're going to compare all three using a scale in real time, starting off with the normal Speedportal 0.1. You can see that they weigh in at 7.05 ounces, the equivalent of 200 grams exactly, quite a ways off 99 grams, which of course is what this football boot pays tribute to. And you can see that they weigh in at 7.1 ounces, the equivalent of 202 grams, so actually 2 grams more than a normal synthetic Speedportal 0.1. And then finally, the Mizunos weigh in at 7.15 ounces, the equivalent of 203 grams. So 1 gram more than the limited edition leather variant and 3 grams more than the Speedportal 0.1. Needless to say, all three of these football boots are almost exactly the same weight, down to the gram. On feet, these feel fantastic, which is great for these football boots, but also super disappointing because they feel so much better than the current Speedportals, either the 0.1 or the Plus with the full synthetic uppers. Those are just significantly stiffer. They seem to have a little bit of a different shape, or at least because the material is so much firmer and less pliable, it doesn't wrap your foot nearly as closely. I think the central lacing system and U-throat construction really makes this a much more adjustable football boot in terms of how closely it's able to wrap your foot. And then the kangaroo leather through the forefoot and toe box area just feels incredibly soft and pliable. They have an incredibly comfortable feel, not to mention the difference in construction through the heel, which I think feels significantly less bulky, offers better overall lockdown, and in general is just more comfortable. It's a better shape. I'm not sure why they didn't do this on the normal variations of the Speedportal. The sole plate underfoot feels fantastic. Love that Carbitex plate as well. From a width perspective, these have plenty of width to them, and because you have that leather in the toe box and forefoot area, that element is going to stretch, but again, plenty of adjustability with this nice deep central lacing system. So speed boots that will be suitable for just about any foot type, even if you do have wider feet. And as far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing these in my usual size 9.5 US, and the fit and the length is perfect. So if you're looking to get a pair for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. So in conclusion, I really like what Adidas have done with these. I think the implementation of leather on the upper makes for something that is very different from every other speed boot option right now. The U-throat construction and central lacing system makes these fit incredibly well, again, significantly better than that of the current Speedportal. The weight hasn't gone up significantly, which is a good thing, and you're getting all of this with a sole plate and stud pattern that has that technology appeal and legitimately performs the part. If this was an inline normal release at the usual 0.1 price tag of $250, I genuinely think it would be one of the most popular speed boots on the market. But as it is at $320, they're really cool. I think they're worth it, but do I think that they are $30 better than that of the MIJ Mizuno Morelia Neo 3? No. While there are certain features that I definitely think you might prefer about the Adidas alternative, I think ultimately this is a football boot that is more refined, arguably fits better, certainly offers better build quality and quality of materials, and in general is just a fantastic pair of football boots. So at the end of the day, take your pick. There's not a bad choice between the two, but if you are just on the market for a leather pair of speed boots, as cool as these are as a limited edition release, these are arguably just that little bit better and for less money.